Let's talk about the sacral center. If you have a clear emotional center, which means that your sacral center is your authority. This is a classical body graph for generators and manifesting generators. This is the center of energy, energy of life, work, and energy to create and do things. In the center, you have a live battery that has a certain settings that we want to learn and talk about today. Imagine a computer in front of you and you are writing a code and computer tells you, yes, I can do this, or no, I cannot do that. That's how the sacral center works for generators and manifesting generators. This code is our signal from the center which says, yes, I have energy to do it, or no, I don't have energy to do it at all. And generators need to learn how to use it and how to honor it. This is how easy the sacral center is. When generators talk, it sounds like a child, like mm-hmm, mm-mm, yeah, nah. They make like this baby sounds even sometimes. Sacral signal is not directive signal, go and do this. All it means, yes, I have energy for this. Yes, this partnership for me is correct. Yes, this information is helping me. It is very, very simple mechanics. If your sacral center gives you the signal, yes, that means your sacral center is giving you the energy for that action, for that relationship, for that conversation. In emotional center, it is not giving you an immediate response. It needs a longer time span to make a decision. People with the emotional authority center have to live sometimes with the decision they make and have to allow themselves to feel it. If it's truly yeah or nay. If you have a sacral center as your authority and it says, I have energy right now for this, right now, not tomorrow or next week. Do you feel the difference? Sacral center doesn't predict tomorrow or next week. It gives you the answer right now in the moment. Very often projectors can come to generators and say, do you want to go to the restaurant? And generators feel, yeah, in their belly. So they have the energy to go to the restaurant. You can go or not, it is up to you. All you have is the energy for it. But it is not about the action. The sacral center is the easiest, simplest, and very reliable center of all. Once you learn how to use it and you will learn to trust it, you will notice you're like a machine. You got energy, you do it. You don't have energy for something, you don't do it. It's that simple and that easy. A mind of generators that use sacral center have a relaxed state of being because the sacral center does majority of work. You have energy, you do it. You have no energy, you stay home, you're not going to restaurant or to work, you just trust it. Because we have been living, always relying only on our mind, Ajna Center, to make decisions, to think things through, taking actions now or later. And that causes failed relationship and work. And that's why people have hard time listening and trusting themselves and their sacral center that is located in the belly. Because the habit of listening to the brain is taking over. And for that you just have to learn and practice to listen to yourself, your sacral center. How can you learn to listen to yourself? Ask others to ask you the simple questions where you can say yes or no. Are you hungry? And you listen, and your sacral center will say, yes, or no. Do you want pizza? Yes or no. Do you want to go for a walk? Yes or no. Do you want to go and watch a movie? Do you like your job? Yes or no. Do you want to move to another country? Do you want to find another job this week? Do you want to purchase a house? A generator who is learning about the sacral center, not going to listen right away to the sacral center. The brain will take over and will strategize everything as usual because it is a comfort zone to rely on the brain. Chicken or vegan? Sacral center doesn't know what chicken or vegan is. It is not programmed for that. It is complex for sacral center and it will fail. But it can answer you. Do you want a vegan? Do you want a chicken? It is two different answers, yes or no. Do you want a salad? Do you want a juice? Do you want to meet up with Jennifer today? Do you want to go for a hiking with Matt today? That's how it operates, yes or no. This is how you begin to train your sacral center to respond, and you're building trust between you and your body and your soul. And your brain is relaxing, thinking that you can eat whatever you want, and I don't care, apple or salad, vegan or chicken. And that's where your sacral center gets turned on. And you will feel how the energy from the lower part of your belly begins to rise. That is the sacral energy of sacral center. And more you'll begin to build a trust and turn on fully your engine, your sacral energy that's been there all along. I don't recommend you to ask yourself questions such as, do I need to divorce or not right now? Because your brain is very clever and it will analyze the answer ahead of time. So don't try to trick it. Find someone who will ask you the simple questions best. Now, projectors and manifestors don't have sacral center, so they rely on the emotional, ego, or root center. But it's not a reliable source of energy like a sacral center. Only a sacral center is building the cities, building the countries. Also, you must know that sacral center is the second most powerful center if we measure the power. Yes, the first one is the emotional center that we're going to learn tomorrow. If again, you have a clear emotional center, you are only relying on the emotional, on the sacral center. Let's talk about it also if you don't have a sacral center, which means you're either projector, manifestor, or reflector. How can you be, or how can you behave because you have all of these generators next to you? And yes, please remember, there's 70% of generators in the world, so majority of people who are surrounding you are generators. Your open sacral center is catching someone else's energy, the same way as we discuss on the open emotional center versus colored one. The open center is absorbing the emotions of the color authority of the emotional center. But please know that only emotional center is capable of increasing the energy by 4, and the rest of the centers increasing the energy only by 2. So if you're next to the generator, you're catching his or her energy and multiplying it by 2. If the emotional center, you're multiplying it by 4, but only artificially, because you don't have a sacral center. It's like drinking a coffee, you're getting the energy, and then you're crashing because you're not a generator. Because you're trying to fit into the world of generators and doing the job or work for generators. You won't be able to ever compete with generators on the equal source of energy and producing the same results. It is not your flow and strategy and mission in life. You don't have this engine. You have different engines that we will discuss and talk about it later. You have other engines, but they don't function the same way, and you won't be able to catch up to generators, and you shouldn't. And if you will go against the current trying to catch up to generators, it will give you the lethargic energy, bitterness, resignation, and even depression. Sooner or later, you will burn out. Generators who do what they don't like will burn out as well, or projectors or manifestors and reflectors who have no sacral center and trying to catch up to the generators, who don't like life in their designs and their settings that are meant for them. So the best thing for projectors, manifestors can do is to forgive themselves that they are not generators and accept that they are unique and have a different settings that are very special, awesome, and they need to enjoy being you, being yourself, because in the past life you were generators, but in this life you don't need to. You have other lessons and other exams to pass in this life. How can you protect now yourself from the atomic station, which is the sacral energy? You won't like it, but I'll share it with you. The best thing is to sleep separately from your husband. If you're a projector, for example, the best quality and effective sleep is possible, again, if you and your aura is 3 meters long, and let's say you're a projector and you're sleeping with a generator who is your husband, his atomic station will impact you. 8 hours, you're absorbing this atomic station energy that you don't need and you're not designed to have. Centers do impact each other. Channels and gates that we'll discuss next week are impacting each other. Trying to sleep separately at least for 2 weeks and observe how do you feel. It doesn't mean that you don't make love to each other. No, you do, but you just sleep in a separate bedrooms, which is really good for you, especially if you're a reflector, projector, or manifestor. The distance again should be at least 3 meters, or ideally 6. The same way, by the way, with the food intake. Listen to when you're eating, if you're hungry or not. When my son watches YouTube channel, I feel that my stress level goes up and I want to eat something, even if I'm not hungry. So the loud sounds and tension triggers my appetite. So I listen to my body and it says, I am not hungry. Some generators don't like being generators because they're 70% of us. Please know it is fabulous to be a generator and to have this loving blanket energy and the battery. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a generator. But let's get back to talking about the emotional center. If you have an emotional center, it will be hard for you to listen to the sacral center. How can you listen to the sacral center if the emotions are louder than your signal in the sacral center? Here again, the beauty of the conscious living. When you're meditating and when you wake up, when you're awaking, you're living a conscious life and you no longer will experience the roller coaster of the emotional center. The answer is in your spiritual awakening, my friends, and only there. Otherwise, it is up and down roller coaster that is really tiring. Some people usually tell me that after roller coaster drama and fight couple of times, they have a really amazing sex. Trust me when I say that is an animal-like taste to a passionate sex compared to the spiritual awakening one, because then you're connecting not just on the physical and emotional, but also a spiritual energies. It is much more fulfilling and delicious to the soul. And then you can actually hear your sacral center because you're not in this roller coaster of emotions. Because both projectors and generators with the emotional center are trying to hear themselves on the high peak. But it's not necessarily the best solution to find your interests, projectors, or for manifestors where they can manifest, or for the generators to hear the signal in their sacral center. Sometimes the best solution could be in the low or the middle of the wave of the emotions. Emotions of not consciously awakened person will take you apart because it is a chemistry for your brain and your body. And it doesn't matter whether this center is colored or clear, because you will be going up or down, or you'll be absorbing people's energy and you'll be going up and down on someone else's energy. But when you're consciously awakened or alive in the present moment, you're not experiencing this really high and really low waves. But society tells us you feel high, great, celebrate, have some alcohol. You're experiencing down, then you artificially getting yourself a drink to experience again this high. And this is like taking a high with a credit, but then with a very high interest rate, and it will crash sooner or later. Because it's not natural, if it's not yours. And if you're borrowing it from someone else, again, it's not good for you. This deliciousness of life is not in these heights, but rather in your stable, emotionally very close, neutral feeling that is just slightly above zero. So this is again was about Sacral Center. Please know that if it's colored, that means this is your authority center. But if it's clear, you gotta look for another center that is colored. And it could be emotional, ego center, or throat center, or root center. And tomorrow we'll continue and we'll talk about emotional center, one of the most powerful centers there is. Namaste, my friends.